Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today's Tuesday, July 18th. This is welcome to MakeOrBreakSports.com's first inaugural podcast. My name is Matt Dalo.
I'm Ben Bauer.
Hope everybody's doing great today on this fine Tuesday evening. So we're just going to get into it a little bit. First off, a little bit about myself. My name, as I said before, is Matt Dalo. You can find me on Twitter at Matt_Dalo. A little bit about me. I'm from northeastern PA here in Berwick. And big Colts fan, big Philadelphia 76ers fan, trust the process. Other than that, not a whole lot. I'm going to go to Penn State. I'm a finance major. Go Nittany Lions. So you'll hear me talk about that a lot. Got a soft spot for them Nittany Lions.
Did you hear you got a guy named Anderson Butts on your team now coming in 2 years? His last name is Anderson Butts. Just throwing that out there real quick for you.
We also have a guy whose last name is Kuntz coming in at tight end.
So we got it covered.
Kuntz and Butts. That's always good. All right. So go ahead, Ben. How about yourself?
Yeah, like Matt said, like I said, my name is Ben Bauer. I currently live in Tampa, Florida, but I was born and raised in the same town as Matt. We grew up together playing golf. Little basketball before I broke my nose a bunch of times, but that's like a story for another day. But that's all right.
About 18 nose breaks.
Graduated from University of Central Florida with a civil engineering degree. So I'm currently working down here in Tampa. And like Matt said, we just love sports, honestly, all kinds of sports. Yeah, I'm a big gambler. I gamble a lot on sports. Probably not good. Maybe I shouldn't mention that. But I'm on Twitter at bbauer23. So if you ever want to hit me up on there, you can find us on there. But you can definitely find us on there as a group at Make or Break Sports. It's going to be at M or B Sports. So definitely keep your eye open for that. We always post some cool stuff on there.
Definitely check out the website as well. It's makeorbreaksports.weebly.com. Just a very basic website. We're just getting everything kicked off. We're going to be uploading lots of content. I don't know if any of you guys have seen. If you haven't on Twitter or our website, go check out we did our 2017 PPR positional rankings for the upcoming fantasy football season. So got to go check that out. We got some really cool content and definitely have all kinds of new content coming out. We're going to be putting out some articles about different things, all things sports. So keep your eyes out for that.
I mean, we started out with the PPR rankings because Matt and I are in a 10-team PPR league together. I'm in another PPR league as well. So we were just preparing for our drafts. We thought it was easiest to do PPR to start. But, Matt, we're going to go ahead and just jump right in, I think, to the rankings here.
Yeah, sweet, so man. Let's get the rankings going here.
But we went straight through and did our own rankings, and we had a consensus of it. So going with quarterbacks first, we got Rodgers as QB1, then we got Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, our QB5, then Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, and then Cam Newton's QB9, and Ben Roethlisberger's at QB10 to round out our top 10. Just looking at a couple on here, Matt, a couple little, like, between you and me, what we had a little difference. One I'll go down to we didn't mention. We have Kirk Cousins at QB11 consensus. I have him at QB7. You have him at QB14. Do you want to go ahead and tell me a little why you're so low on Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I mean, Cousins, I don't know. I'm not a believer in Cousins don't get me wrong. I still think he could be good. I think he could be decent. I mean, I just don't really believe in him. I mean, first of all, the most important thing is he's clearly not happy in Washington. Those two sides are having trouble getting a deal done, which, I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, they just don't seem to be on the same page. And I just
don't know if he's not happy or not, though. I mean, they offered him that kind of money, and he said he's open to playing there again. And I don't think he's going to get that money anywhere else.
He definitely won't get that money else. But the second big thing, though, besides the fact that he's maybe not happy, I just don't think he has any weapons to work with. I mean, when you look at it at receiver, they got Jordan Reed, who's a very good tight end.
If he's healthy.
If he's healthy, which, I mean, God only knows if that can happen.
Who knows if that'll happen, exactly.
Yeah, and then receiver, I mean, you pretty much have Terrell Pryor and –
Senior, not the junior.
Senior, not his kid. Terrell Pryor, senior, who, I mean, I don't think he's a great receiver. He did good for the Browns last year, but that's because he was the only player the Browns even had. So
I think they got Josh Doxson coming in. He didn't play much last year. He was hurt. I think he'll be good. He was a stud at TCU. And they still got Jamison Crowder, who last year didn't play much because he was behind Garcon and behind Deshaun Jackson.
So and they lost Garcon. Garcon, where he went to the 49ers.
He went to the Niners, and Deshaun went to the Bucs. So, I mean, they lost those. But I think Jamison Crowder is going to be good.
Yeah, Jamison Crowder's all right. He's not a bad slot guy, but I don't know. I don't believe in Cousins. I just don't believe in Cousins. I don't think he's that great by himself. But you never know. I mean, he could be okay. We have him at QB11. He's just not a dude. I just don't think he's a dude you want as your starting quarterback. I know some guys in 12-team leagues might have to end up with him as a starter, but I don't think he's the guy you want as a starter. Wouldn't be a bad backup, or if you play the matchups.
I mean, he's going to be a starter in our 10-team league. I don't think there's any question, but I just think there are better guys out there, but I think that you could do a lot worse than Kirk Cousins.
The other one that I saw, there was a couple of them that Derek Carr, we had a big difference in.
Yeah, we did.
You had him at 10, I had him at 6.
Yeah,
dude, I think Derek Carr is the truth, man. I think that dude lets it fall. I think he's the truth, bro.
You think he's about to ball out with all that money
I think he's the truth. I mean,
don't get me wrong, he's got the weapons. He's got the weapons. He's got Crabtree. He's got Calamari Cooper sitting there. But I just don't know if I don't know if I can believe the hype. I have him at QB 10, so I still have him as a QB 1, which is solid. But I don't know.
I would 100% take Derek Carr as my starting quarterback because, I mean, if you look at his numbers, his numbers the last 2 years have been fantastic. He was completing 64% of his passes last year. He only threw 6 picks last year.
But like I said, he did, and he does have that new contract. There's going to be that chip on his shoulder, but. Don't forget, now they have Marshawn Lynch coming in, who I think is an upgrade from Latavius Murray, who's my boy from UCF, but I still think he's an upgrade going to Marshawn Lynch.
I think he's an upgrade, but I only think that helps him out. And the other thing you got to remember, too, is they have a sick offensive line. Kalechi Osemele and Rodney Hudson and a bunch of dudes. I mean, they got some really, really good guys. Let's see. I got them right here. They got Donald Penn's another he's a really good left guard.
And they were definitely a top 5 offensive. Definitely a top 5 offensive line, but don't forget they have to play the Broncos twice and they have to play the Chiefs twice, and those are 2 of the top 10 defenses in the NFL.
True. I mean, that's a good point, but I think Derek Carr is a flat out baller. I love him. I think.
All right, Matty. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the running backs a little bit now. We got the quarterbacks taken care of.
Yeah, sure.
So, like I said, now don't forget, guys, these are the PPR rankings. What we think. So a lot of these guys you're going to hear can both run the ball pretty hard and also catch passes out of the backfield. So, starting with RB1, we got David Johnson, then we got Le'Veon Bell, we got Ezekiel Elliott at 3, we got LaShawn McCoy at 4, we got Devonta Freeman at 5, DeMarco Murray, Melvin Gordon, Jordan Howard, Jay Ajayi, and then Todd Gurley rounding out the top 10. We're going to go a couple more here for the running backs get deep. We got Isaiah Crowell at 11, Marshawn Lynch at 12, Lamar Miller at 13, Danny Woodhead at 14, and the rookie out of LSU, Beast himself, Leonard Fournette, at rounding out our top 15. So, Matt, we're going to go ahead and talk to my, right now, favorite player, hype player in this draft, and that's Isaiah Crowell, dude. So, I don't know what you're seeing or why I'm so high on him, but I think he's an animal. And we're going to talk a little bit more about him later. I just wanted to let you know that Isaiah Crowell, I have him at RB8, you have him at RB18, so a lot lower for you, 10 whole spots, but we'll definitely discuss him in depth a little more later.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Let's look at a couple more here. Carlos Hyde. What do you see in Carlos Hyde, the 49ers?
I mean, Carlos Hyde, to me, I think they just don't have anything else. They don't have any, but he's got to get the touches. I mean, I think he's going to get the ball. He's going to be on the field all 3 downs. I think he's going to get as many touches as any other running back, to be honest with you, because if you look at their depth chart, they don't have hardly anybody that could come in. No,
you're right. I think they're the opposite. I think they're the other way around. I think they're going to look to throw the ball this year because they just like you said, they picked up Pierre Garçon. They drafted a wide receiver. I can't remember who they drafted, but I know they drafted.
Here, I got it right here. They drafted
some guy, bigger guy. I think it was a bigger guy, wasn't it?
Trent Taylor. No, I don't. Victor Bolden.
That's right. Whatever. Anyway, I know they drafted a wide receiver at some point in the draft, but I just think that they're going to be throwing the ball. They got, like I said, they got the downfield threat. Pierre Garçon's there now.
But dude, they're going to throw the ball, but they're choosing between Brian Hoyer and Matt Barkley or the Iowa man CJ Beathard, and he's a ginger. And I mean, they have nobody, man.
Hoyer played all right last year, though. Hoyer's not a slouch quarterback.
Yeah.
And who's their coach now? Kyle Shanahan, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's all right. I mean, he's not good. I think they got to lean on Carlos Hyde.
I don't know. I disagree, but I mean, hey, that's what we're here for, you know. We
I think he gets the touches. I think Carlos Hyde's going to get the touches.
Let's go a little bit deeper here. Let's talk about LeGarrette Blount. We have him at RB 42. You have him at 37. I have him at 46. Mr. 18 touchdowns. Do you think he repeats that this
dude.
year?
I mean, you got to give the man some respect. He comes off a season with 18 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to repeat
18 touchdowns.
But I think he's going to unseat Ryan Matthews for the bulk of the carries. I mean, he won't. He probably won't get third down work because of Darren Sproles. But I mean, when you look at the rest of that backfield, you got Ryan Matthews, you got Donnell Pumphrey, you got Wendell Smallwood, and you got Sproles. I think he's the most proven out of any of those guys besides Sproles on third down work, which, I mean, Sproles is definitely a PPR monster, and that's where LeGarrette Blount loses a lot of his you know.
You don't like Wendell Smallwood?
Don't like Smallwood, buddy. I do not like Smallwood.
I don't either. Don't worry. He's my last running back we had ranked. So
I think he's irrelevant. I do. We don't have him here to talk about, but I think Donnell Pumphrey, he broke all the rushing records in college.
The rookie. Yep.
I think if anyone has a chance to really pop out of that backfield and make a splash, it might be him. But I think it's going to be Blount on first and second. They'll probably spell him with Matthews, and then Sproles on third down work. But I like Blount. I think he's probably got a chance to be a solid running back. I mean, not a guy you want as your running back one, or probably not even running back two. But
no, definitely not.
I think if you play the matchups, I think you could flex him a lot. I think he's a dude who definitely could be in the flex sometimes. Because
anytime you got a guy that had 18 touchdowns, you got to respect that a little, no matter what kind of offense you're playing in. So, I mean, that's the whole take on me. Like I said, I'm not as high on him. I'm not super low on him. Like I said, I have him at 46. You have him at 37. So we have a nine spot gap. But, I mean, that doesn't mean I wouldn't consider picking him up. But he's not going to be in my starting lineup in any week unless somebody goes down there. I mean, that's the take.
Hey, man, I think Blunt's a beast. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's hit two more.
We got to figure out what his workload's going to be. Go ahead.
You're right. And that's what happens. You know, they got Alshon Jeffrey now. They still got Jordan Matthews. Zach Ertz is coming back healthy, supposedly. So we'll see if they keep running the ball, if they try to throw the ball a little bit more with Carson Wentz in year 2. But we'll see.
Pennsylvania.
What do you think? We got 2 more of these guys here. Let's talk about, what do you think? Samaje Perine. How do you feel about him? RB 56 for you.
I mean, Samaje Perine he's a very talented running back, as we saw in Oklahoma. I just think he might be a little bit in a too big of a running back stable with Rob Kelly and Chris Thompson and Matt Jones.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know that Samaje is going to be
Matt Jones still there? He might even get cut. They have too many. I don't even know.
He asked for a trade, I think, but he didn't get it yet.
I don't blame him.
As of last week, he was still on the depth chart.
That backfield hasn't been the same ever since the one guy, what's his name, had one huge year.
Alfredo sauce.
Big Alfredo sauce, yeah.
Yeah,
so I like Perine. I have him at RB 44. I just think when it's said and done, these teams that draft a running back or 44, I'm sorry, these teams just have to come out and draft a running back. They want to get them into the system in one point or another during the year. And I think I like Rob Kelly more than I like Chris Thompson, I think. I have Rob Kelly, I think, a little bit higher in those rankings. So I just think that it's going to be a replacement. I have Perine higher than Thompson in general, so I think they're going to start out just like that. But I mean,
it's a crapshoot because, like I said, Washington is like a crazy franchise with the coach and the ownership. You never know what they're going to do. I mean, Thompson might not be bad PPR, and Fat Rob Kelly he showed flashes of being all right.
Yeah.
It just all depends. I mean, you never know. I do like Perine. I think he's really talented, but I just didn't rank him that high just because it's hard to tell right off the bat. Yeah. But who knows? He could break onto the scene. He's got huge biceps.
Those rookies, you never know. You never know what those rookies and those huge biceps are going to do.
Yeah, dude.
And one more, Matt, that I kind of want to pick out. Darren McFadden. Going to get a little interesting here, I think. You have him at RB 60. I have him at RB 62. Run DMC with all this news of Ezekiel Elliott could be the starter for 1, 2, maybe up to 6 games according to the CBA. What are your thoughts? I know we made these rankings before that all came out.
I didn't see a whole lot about what's going on with Zeke. I don't know the nature. I know he got in a potential fight or whatever, but I don't know what the deal is with him.
The guy's nose looked like mine when I broke mine. Yeah, so I don't know if he threw the punch or not, but
I don't know.
Not pretty.
When Zeke's when he's playing, if Zeke's active, I mean, McFadden's not worth a damn. Elliott's going to get the ball 99% of the time when he's active. But if he does get suspended, I mean, McFadden would then become, I still think, nothing more than like a handcuff if you draft Zeke for those guys in that mid to early first round that take the chance on Zeke, even if he does get suspended. Because I think even if he does get suspended for a game or two, you still got to take him first round, and then just make sure you draft McFadden.
One or two games, he's still a top 3 pick. Any more than 2, though, that's when you got to start, getting maybe down the first rounder on him, maybe slide back in the first. I mean, I know I have the 8th pick in our draft. He's there at 8 with a 2-game suspension. Who knows what happens?
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll talk more about that later on.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure, for sure.
So, Matt, you want to run through our wide receivers for us a little bit there, bud?
Yeah, we could do wide receivers for sure. All right, so for wide receiver, we have coming in at number 1, no surprise here, we have Antonio Brown. Then we have Julio Jones at 2, Odell Beckham at 3. At number 4, we have A.J. Green. 5, Jordy Nelson. 6, Mike Evans. 7, my man T.Y. Hilton. 8, Des Bryant. 9, Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Amari Cooper of the Oakland Raiders. Calamari. Yeah, I mean, pretty much not a whole lot going on here.
No, our top 10 is pretty standard there. I mean, we don't really have any big jumps even in the top 20, I don't really think.
I think that AB, Julio, and OBJ are solid as it gets. I mean, they're the top 3 running backs probably. In PPR, I think they're probably 3 of the top 6 picks in every draft. I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those guys.
No, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I'm not as high as you are on, let's see, in that top 10. I mean, you have Jordy 1 spot higher. But other than that, I mean, we're pretty straight.
Well, we had
1 spot
we
higher
had
too,
what we had Jordy Nelson and Mike Evans switched. I think 6 and 7.
Yeah, Jordy and Mike Evans were switched at 5-6. But I mean, that's pretty.
That was honestly a close one. That was a close one for me. I just went with the quarterback play. I think.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, and yeah, definitely Rodgers is there, but Jameis, I don't think really has. He has the deep threat now with Deshaun, but Mike Evans is definitely going to be up there. I don't know why I even have Evans at 5. I probably have him lower now.
I honestly, truthfully think Deshaun Jackson only helps Mike Evans because, I mean, you got to put he spreads it out.
Yep,
he's going to take a lot of.
And he's younger than Vincent Jackson was. So,
yeah.
What do you think? Let's talk about your old Penn Stater there, Allen Robinson, number 7.
We are, baby. This was a definite we are pick. I mean, I love Allen Robinson. I think he's a stud. Physically, I think he's a great wide receiver. Last year, he was kind of down. He had a down year just coming back from Bortles, didn't play very well. And
hey, now, watch my boy, all right? You're going to talk about your boy. You can't be talking about my UCF boy.
Yeah, man, a UCF boy making a Penn State boy look bad. That's no good. Plus, I mean, Allen Hurns was playing okay, and Marquise Lee emerged a little bit. And
yeah, you're right.
They just struggled offensively. They didn't quite get it together. Because I had Allen Robinson in fantasy. I took him with like the 10th or 11th pick or something in PPR.
Yeah, because you went back to back.
Yeah, and I thought he was. I thought he was going to be really good, and he let me down a lot. But I still think he's a talented wide receiver. I really do think Blake Bortles is a decent quarterback. I think that they improved their team a little bit. They got Leonard Fournette, so that'll help balance out that offense. Hopefully,
help that offense.
I believe they got an offensive lineman, so I think Bortles will be a little bit better, but
we have him at wide receiver 17, and just so you guys know, Matt has him at wide receiver 12, and I have him at wide receiver 16. He's 17 overall because what we did is we wanted to get a third opinion in there, so we honestly just took the ESPN rankings and threw theirs in there as well, but that just to get the consensus if there was a tie or any discrepancy or anything like that. So that's where that came in. We didn't really factor them too much, but we just wanted to let you know that that's where we were on that. So if you see those consensus higher than either of our 2 picks, that's what happened. Let's go down, talk about somebody I want to talk about. Adam Thielen, Minnesota.
Adam Thielen, yeah.
Thielen,
that's another
wide
receiver.
I don't know. Thielens, whatever, how you even pronounce his name. All I know is Michael Floyd suspended for 4 games now. I have him at wide receiver 33. You have him at 45, so there's a pretty big gap there. Minnesota is going to be throwing the ball, I think, a pretty decent amount. I was looking at strength of schedule earlier. They have probably one of the easiest strength of schedules against the pass that I've seen. So for me, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think
not sure who's going to be the quarterback there, honestly. I don't know if they've said if it's going to be Bradford, if they said it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater, but I mean,
I think it would probably have to be. So. Right now, they have it listed as Bradford. Bridgewater's not even really active yet.
That's what I was thinking too.
Basically, this was another one with just a quarterback thing for me. I don't trust Sam Bradford. I think Stephon Diggs is better, so I think Stephon Diggs will definitely get more of the looks. Thielen would be all right, but I think Thielen, as you saw, if you look at some of the stat lines at the end of the year, he was a big play guy. He was making he was catching long bombs for touchdowns, whereas Stephon Diggs had a couple double-digit catch games towards the end of the year. He was big. So I think PPR hurts Thielen compared to Diggs. And also, you say about the passing, and I agree, they might chuck it a little bit, but they just brought in Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray. I think maybe they're going to try to balance out that offense a little bit. I mean, no more AP. So when AP was gone the last couple of years, they were really missing him. But I really think that with Murray and Cook, they might run the ball a little more. So I wasn't super big on Thielen. I think he could be okay, but I'm just not sold on him as a
I mean, that's
receiver.
Like I said, he had a couple big games last year. I just think with Michael Floyd gone, he's going to be playing the slot a little bit. So, I mean, those short down plays, he might be in there getting a couple of catches. He's fast as heck, and he's a smaller guy. So he's one of those good slot receivers. I compare him to a Randall Cobb of old. I mean, Randall Cobb's a little bit older now. So, but, I mean, I definitely think he has potential.
Dude, you didn't give any love to you didn't give any love to my man Dante Moncrief, did you?
No, I did not. That's more of a fact that I think T.Y. Hilton's in for a monster year. I agree. I think T.Y. Hilton. I mean, I have T.Y. Hilton. Like you said, we both have him at wide receiver 7, number 7 overall. He could honestly be probably higher than that, competing up there with Mike Evans. The big thing for me with that is, one, you can see on my quarterback rankings, I need Luck to get healthy before I can give him any love. But I think no matter who's a quarterback there, if it's Luck, if it's somebody else, because Luck's hurt, I know they're your Colts, but I just think everything's going to go to T.Y. Hilton or maybe even Jack Doyle. We might talk about a little bit later.
He's trash.
But Moncrief, for me, it's just one of those players where he's just, for me, too boom bust to trust. I like that.
Yeah,
boom bust to trust. Dude,
boom bust to trust. Dr. Seuss, man, write that down, Dr. Seuss.
Boom bust to trust, written down.
But for me, dude, he catches touchdowns in most of the games he played in. He missed a couple games last year, and there were some games he played in that Luck missed. So he really didn't get – I don't think we got to see as much of Dante Moncrief as really we can. I think he's a darn good receiver. He's a little bigger than Hilton, a little more physical, more of a possession, go up and get it kind of guy. I like Moncrief. I think he has a chance to have a really good bounce-back year after his injury-riddled 2016 campaign. But
sure. Yeah, I mean, hey, if Luck's healthy, who knows what their offense can do.
Oh, yeah, man.
If only he could play defense for him a little bit, they might be okay.
Dude, I know their defense is brutal.
Why don't you pick one more out for us, Matt? One more wide receiver.
Let's see. Who do we have some big discrepancy in? Brandon Marshall was one we didn't really have.
All right, we can talk about him. We're going to save my boy Zay Jones for later because I'm going to preach about
Zay Jones
him
is a good one.
So we'll talk about him later on.
Ooh, you got let's see.
We'll go Brandon. Let's talk Brandon Marshall, the former going from one New York team to the other, going from Jets to Giants. Now he's paired with Odell and Sterling Shepard. You have him wide receiver 35. I have him wide receiver 24. He's our wide receiver 29 consensus.
So basically with Brandon Marshall, I just think with Odell and Sterling Shepard, as you mentioned, I think Shepard is really good, a really good young talent. So I think he has a chance to really break out and be good this year. I think Marshall's getting up there in age a little bit. Plus, I just don't know if him and Eli can get on the same page right away. He is a good player, don't get me wrong. This was kind of more of a thing is there were just a bunch of receivers I saw as being better than him, not so much him being not good. He just kind of kept getting bumped back because I don't know how he's going to perform. I think he definitely has a chance to be okay. But now with a lot more weapons on the Giants, I don't know if Eli's going to spread it around a whole lot. I don't think he's going to become a main guy. I think it's always going to be Odell because Odell is just too good. He's always going to get open. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just really big on Eli this year. I think the Giants' offense as a whole is going to be really good. Paul Perkins, I think, is very underrated as a running back. I'm sorry, guys. My headphones keep falling out. They're really, I don't even know, but I keep putting them back in. But Paul Perkins, I think, is going to be a good running back. I think Brandon Marshall. Nobody had more red zone targets last year than Brandon Marshall. He played for the Jets. So, I mean, I know Eli by all means is no stud quarterback, but I think they get in the red zone quite a bit. So, I mean, they're going to be throwing the ball. And, I mean, Odell's going to be there, but Odell's always been a deeper threat compared to in the red zone. In the red zone, they've always looked for the bigger guys. Last year, they got Sterling Shepard incorporated a little bit. He had a pretty good year, but now I think they have Sterling Shepard to be able to play the slot or even move Odell into the slot a little bit and put Sterling Shepard on the outside. Yeah, Brandon Marshall definitely
I think they're going to go with that look a lot.
I definitely think Brandon Marshall's a high ceiling, but like super low floor as well. Like he definitely could have a big year, but he can also really hurt your team. That's why I have him. I mean, he's a wide receiver 3 still by all means. No wide receiver 2. Maybe
I don't.
your flex, but
He could be good. I just don't know if I could trust him. I mean,
sure.
Eli never blows anybody's doors in with touchdown passes, and so I don't know that he's going to get it. I don't know that Marshall is poised for a big year. I think 24 is a little high for him. I had him at, 35?
Yeah, 35, 34, I think. Yeah, 35,
29, 30
yeah.
might be a little better for him. I think our consensus worked out good. I'm just not I don't really think he's going to have a super amazing fantasy year. He's definitely a big acquisition, but I don't know about him fantasy-wise if he's going to be that great.
Sure. Yep. Head over to tight ends.
As far as tight ends go, there's really only one or two, and there's one that I really want to talk about because I doing my prep stuff, I think that I should have rated this guy even higher. Cameron Brate. Man, I was looking at him. This dude caught 8 touchdowns last year. He had 69 receptions or 59 receptions or something like that. And he had 57 for 8 touchdowns. He had a really good year. And now I know what you're thinking with O.J. Howard coming in.
You know exactly what I'm thinking. My boy O.J.
Yeah, O.J. Howard is a beast. I think he's going to really be a stud. Jameis Winston's licking his chops, dude, because he's got all kinds of targets.
Oh, he's got all types of weapons in that offense. So we're going to talk about that offense more later, too.
I like Howard. I like Howard a lot, but I also think Cameron Brate deserves a lot of credit. I think he could be all right. He's a pretty athletic dude. I mean, he could definitely break in and be like a starting tight end a lot of weeks, depending on how Howard is used.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then the one other one we disagreed on was Jack Doyle. You had him at 12. I had him at 17.
Yep.
I should have dropped him lower too. I don't believe in him at all, man.
Come on now. What are you doing? I mean, the only reason I have him at 12, honestly, is like I said, I started looking at quarterbacks they have throwing to him. I mean, I have Fleener right there, right behind him at 15. But like Doyle for me, you got Luck. If Luck's healthy, he slings the ball. There's no doubt about it. So Dwayne Allen's always been consistent for them. I know he went to New England now, but Dwayne Allen's always been a solid starting tight end play. Whether you stream him, whether you pick him up for a week and plug him in, but he's been a solid fill-in. So I just think Doyle came on at the end of last year a little bit, so I think he's going to fill that role pretty well. But we're going to talk one more guy here because that's our biggest discrepancy, I think, of any player we have. Benjamin Watson, tight end for the Ravens. You have him at tight end 29. I have him at tight end 16. Tight end 22 overall. Benjamin Watson. Let me just tell you.
What do you like about him?
Who in the last year? Let's talk last year. Do you know which tight end had the most targets?
Who at Benjamin Watson?
Dennis Pitta, who was the tight end for the Ravens, but he can never stay healthy. But he was healthy last year, had a decent year, then got hurt. But he was on pace for the most targets for tight ends last year. Flacco has always loved the tight end. I remember 4 or 5 years ago when Pitta was just putting up monster numbers before he started breaking every bone and hip and back and everything he has in his body. But I just think Benjamin Watson, he played for New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Drew Brees offense where they were running, gunning, throwing the ball left and right all over the place. And he was getting catches there. Not a lot, but he was getting catches there. Now I'm going to go to a Baltimore team where I just think he's going to stand out. And, like I said, I have him at tight end 16, but I'm just big on him.
I don't know, man. He's getting up there in age, first of all. He's got some competition, not only in the receiving core, but in the tight end specifically. Crockett Gilmore got a lot of targets last year. Max Williams, the guy out of Minnesota, they both got a lot of targets last year.
Well, Gilmore's hurt, and Max Williams is coming off the PUP, so he might not even play all year. So he's going to have at least 6 to 8 weeks probably he won't get to play. Crockett Gilmore got hurt too, so he's still rehabbing an injury.
Yeah, Watson does have a shot. I think that with Wallace and Macklin and Brashad Perry, these guys are going to try – they're all speedsters. I think they're going to try to do that air-it-out type style that, like you were talking about in New Orleans. I don't know. I think Benjamin Watson's getting a little old to be a relevant tight end.
I like the Ravens offense this year. I hate the Ravens. I'm a Steelers fan, as you can see by the jersey, but I like the Ravens offense this year. And we'll talk more about their backfield, especially later. Hey, you remember the bet we made 2 years ago with Brashad Perryman? I don't know if you remember that or not.
What's that?
Like 2 years ago, I drafted him in his rookie year, and I go, oh, this guy's going to be a stud. Like, he went to UCF, so I watched him play. He had the craziest
catch. Does he even have a catch?
He has a couple catches. He played his first year, he tore his ACL. But last year he started coming on a little bit. He had a couple of touchdowns last year.
So
too,
you're
so I don't
saying
wanna
I
hear
won the
it,
bet
right?
is what you're –
So you're saying you won the bet, but I want to see him get a full year. So, like, this year I'm willing to make that same bet.
Nah, man. I
But
mean, everything they talk about him, he's a speed demon, so he could definitely be good. I don't know. I mean, he could be all right. But still not a believer in Benjamin Watson, though. Get him out.
We'll talk a little bit about defenses, but defenses are
nothing crazy here.
Important, but they're not, fun to talk about really. So, we got the normal Seahawks, Broncos, Cardinals at 1, 2, and 3 consensus. We just had them flip-flop a little bit between him and I. Then you got Texans. You got the Panthers back up there, led by, the usual Luke Kuechly. Then we got the Patriots, Chiefs, Vikings, Steelers, and the Los Angeles Rams rounding out the top 10. That's a pretty solid, I think, top 10. There's a couple of teams up there we were, a little different on. You had the Chiefs at defense 5. I had the Chiefs at 11. I don't know why this year, but the only thing appealing to me is the Chiefs' offense. And normally it's the other way around. But to me, the Chiefs' offense has always been getting better and better. I think with Spencer Ware this year, their offense is going to be good. I think they have some new – they don't have many wide receiver weapons, but, I think Spencer Ware is definitely a good start for running back-wise.
And Kelsey is arguably one of the best tight ends in the league.
We have our number 2 tight end. But their defense to me has just never been, fit. I know they got they got Tamba Ali in there. They got Houston in there.
Justin Houston, Derek Johnson. Dude, they have Marcus Peters and I think they have Flowers, and they have Eric Berry.
Like I said,
I think their defense is pretty loaded on paper. On paper, they got rid of Dontari Poe. Dontari Poe went to the Falcons, but I don't know, dude. I think they really have a damn good.
And that's
defense.
Just one of those. I'm not putting them at the end of the defenses. I'm just having defense 11.
I think
they could perform.
They have a really good secondary, and they have a good pass rush, so that bodes well for fantasy. Get some sacks.
Eric Berry, that story is still just
great. Eric Berry's an awesome
big
story.
Fan for him,
He's a damn good player. I think they can ball.
Absolutely.
So, their style of play with Andy Reid, they're ground and pound, and they rely on their defense a lot. So I don't know. Their defense has a chance to score some points.
Sure, I agree. I don't know. You want to get any more defenses, or should we move on to our spotlights?
I think that's pretty good. I
don't think
defenses aren't as big of a deal, but that's pretty much what we got for defenses. So, all right, guys. So what we have for you guys here, and what we're going to do every podcast, at least until the beginning of the NFL season. With the NFL season coming up soon, we were going to try to do what we're going to call the division spotlight every podcast, which is what we're going to do here. Is we're going to take each division by division, and we're going to talk about who we think the best fantasy players in that division are, some breakout potential guys, some sleepers, some bust potentials, some of the best rookies we think that could be in that division. And then ultimately we're going to tell you who we think is going to win the division and how everybody we think is going to fare in the division. And with the New England Patriots, unfortunately, winning the Super Bowl
again,
we're gonna start with the New England Patriots and their division, the AFC East. So basically, let's see. For me, we're going to get in. We're going to start out with who we think the most solid players are fantasy-wise in the AFC.
And this is easy for me. I got 2. That's easy.
I have 4 or 5.
Okay, so you're like the AFC East a little more than I do, but
yeah.
I got my boy LaShawn McCoy.
Yep,
definitely.
I have McCoy.
Probably the best player. I think the best player in that division. Him or Gronk. Gronk's definitely up there for me too. He's my second. Those two. LaShawn McCoy last year, I had him on my team, and he was a stud for PPR. This year, I personally have him at running back 3 ahead of Elliott this year. I just think with the whole stuff going on with Elliott, and LaShawn McCoy doesn't have a necessary consistent backup like he did last year with Mike Gillislee. But I just think Shady's in for another monster year.
I think Shady could have another solid year. I do have him as one of the best players in the division. The only thing is I think he's getting a little older. I know he's still a good running back, but he's hit 29, so he's right at that tipping point.
He hasn't hit 30 yet, though. He's good.
I know, and the big 3-0 is the big number, so I still think he has capable, the potential.
Sure. Yeah, no, but he just runs hard all the time.
Yep. And then the other guys I have, I sadly had to put down Tom Brady. Tom Brady is as solid as it goes. He's as solid as it gets. He's got a slew of weapons, maybe the best crew of weapons he's ever had.
I agree.
To that same point, I did put Gronk. There are very few tight ends that can really make or break your team. And Gronk's
man's
one
healthy,
of them.
he's a beast.
Yeah, when the man's healthy, he's one of the most dominant players.
It's so hard to take him, though. You want to waste that second-round pick on him. But.
Yeah. it's always controversial when to pick Gronk, but no doubt about it, man. He is one of the best players in fantasy. And I also had to go and list Jarvis Landry and Jay Ajayi,
Yeah.
both down in Miami. Jarvis Landry, for whatever reason, is just a PPR monster. I think mainly because he's their only really viable receiving option. And Tannehill loves him. The dude is a freak. And he's always good. He could get in the end zone a little bit more. That's the one thing that hurts him a little bit in fantasy is he hasn't been the touchdown guy.
Sure, yeah, I agree. He's a PPR machine, though.
But, yeah, man, in PPR, this dude just – 10 catches every week. I mean, he's really good. And then I have Ajayi because I think Jay Ajayi is poised for another really good year. He was solid all year last year. I think his touches are only going to increase.
200 yards in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
If he stays healthy, I think he could definitely, have another really good season. So those are my guys: Brady, Gronk, Landry, Ajayi, and McCoy. Those were my 5.
Yeah, I had Shady and Gronk, so I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't think there's any player on the Jets that's worth even putting in that category. I think the best player on the Jets is whatever defense that they're playing against to put them on your team.
Dude,
they're trying to get 20 fantasy points.
They're terrible, man.
Breakouts. This is the one I'm excited about. This is a guy I've been wanting to talk about a little bit now. Not the one you're thinking of. I think a different one, though. My breakout candidate is Mike Gillislee for the Patriots. Mike Gillislee was a backup last year for LaShawn McCoy, as I mentioned earlier. Just a little. I mean, I guess I'm going to talk a lot more about him later. We have like feature spotlights on feature players, and he's mine that I'm going to talk. One of mine that I'm going to talk about. So I don't get into too much. Just know that name. Know Mike Gillislee. He's going to be a steal in your draft. Probably going 5th, 6th round. I think he can be a almost third round value. So he's my breakout candidate.
Yeah, we'll talk about Gillislee a little later. But yeah, dude, my breakout. Kind of contradictory to what I said about Jarvis Landry, but one guy, it was hard for this division because the Patriots, you kind of get what you get. The Bills didn't really have anybody that I thought was a breakout candidate.
Who do you got, Parker or Stills?
The only thing that's trying to break out with the Jets is they're just trying to break out of that stadium and go somewhere else because they're terrible. There's no good players on there.
Nothing good there.
And so I picked Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker.
I think Parker –
he's my sleeper, so I mean, I'll kill that one down. He's my sleeper for that division. So.
Okay, so he was your sleeper. I had him as a breakout guy, just because I think coming into his 3rd year, this is where a lot of guys make a jump. Adam Gase now 2nd year as the head coach, and statistically, if you look at some receivers in the past, as they seem to break out after a little bit of time with Adam Gase, I really like him. I think he's I think he really is a talented guy. I think Tannehill's an okay quarterback. I think he can definitely get him the ball. Yeah. So I just look for him, and heck, if
I'm a huge Tannehill fan. I just want him to perform for 1 year. I just want him to do something. I have him at QB 22, but I mean, I like the guy.
Yeah, dude. If he's an interesting one, man, because you can never kind of tell if he's good or bad. He's always like right there.
Yeah.
But I think Devontae Parker, he could be okay.
Choice.
He could be a decent breakout choice. He's talented. He's had a couple decent years, nothing crazy, but I think this could be his year. Now we'll get into some sleepers. So this one, I actually have some surprising ones here. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I told you I had Devontae Parker's mine, and I actually, dude, I have one sleeper and one rookie that's a Jet. So I actually have 2 Jets in here.
Yeah, I have a Jet here too.
My sleeper
I have a
tight
couple
end,
Jets. Yeah.
My sleeper tight end is gonna be Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He's a sleeper.
Yeah,
I have him
he's
tight
all right.
end, I think 30, way down there. Tight end 29. So I mean, not up, but he's a veteran. They don't have anybody on that team that knows how to do anything. I don't know who's throwing the ball to them. But I just think that somebody that throws the ball is going to look at the tight end because they don't really know what to do. So I think Seferian-Jenkins is a safe choice. Who knows who the starter is going to be? He might not even start. I'm probably not taking him as my tight end 1. He's a good play for a bye-week fill.
Yeah, I don't think Seferian-Jenkins – the biggest issue with him is who's throwing the ball. And but I also have a Jet guy as a sleeper. My guy is Quincy Enunwa. I think.
Okay. He was up. Yeah, I had him as a breakout candidate, but I didn't really talk about him because I don't. Really
just by virtue of with Marshall gone, and who else did they lose? Decker. They lost Decker. I mean, Enunwa was okay when he was the 3rd guy. He had a couple decent games. I think he had 2 or 3 7 or 8 catch games, even with Decker and Marshall in the lineup. So, and I know that was with Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing him the ball, which, I mean, they thought he was terrible, but now if they look at their depth chart, they don't know what they got till it's gone because they're just all trash. But I think Inaugural has a chance just by virtue of being the only really competent receiver with some field experience. I think he has a chance to be okay, PPR.
Not till you hear my rookie, though.
Who,
my rookie for the Jets.
We have the same guy, I'm sure.
I don't know. There's two of them though. They have two. Let's just jump into that then. The rookie.
I actually have. Anyway, I got two more.
You got some
sleepers.
more sleepers. Okay, you're getting deep down there.
I put Tannehill. We don't have to talk about that so much. I think he's just a dude that if his receiving core proves themselves, I mean, Kenny Stills and Parker, I mean, we know Landry. I mean,
their offensive line is just not very good.
Yeah, I know. But he's a guy that if you look at, he had a couple games last year where he had 20-plus points, and if he could be a decent bye-week fill-in, or maybe if you really get into a quarter or an injury pinch, I think he could have an okay year. And, he don't sleep on Tannehill. He's a talented guy. I just don't know if he'll quite break through, but we'll have to see how he plays out. I'd like to keep my eye out on him down in Miami. And then the other guy I have is he was a sad departure from my Colts, was Dwayne Allen. I think Tom Brady spreads it around. That's the one thing about him is he finds guys. Look at last year with Martellus Bennett. Even in games when Gronk played, Bennett still found the end zone and was able to find some catches. So I think Dwayne Allen, you never know with Gronk. If Gronk, gets hurt again like he sometimes does, mostly does.
Normally does.
Dwayne Allen could be solid. Dwayne Allen's a great blocking tight end. He's going to be on the field. I think Bill Belichick's going to like his work ethic. I think he's going to get him on the field. And anytime you're on the field with Tom Brady, you have a chance to catch the ball and make some plays. So, don't sleep on Dwayne Allen. I think he has a chance to be a decent player.
I got you. No worries there.
So,
all right, so let's talk about this rookie. I think we're both talking about it.
Do you want to talk about rookie or do you want to do busts?
Okay, we can do bust first because our rookie, I think we both have the same one. I'm super excited about my other rookie, so I can talk about him for hours. So I'd rather just wait and save him for last. So
yeah, okay.
My bust in that division is actually going to be a surprise. I think it's going to be a new New England Patriot. And it's going to be Brandon Cooks.
Dude, me too. That's funny.
I think Brandon Cooks. I think he's a good wide receiver, but I just think in that New Orleans offense, it's just a Drew Brees. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tom Brady is no. I'm not saying Tom Brady's behind Drew Brees by any means, but Drew Brees' receivers over the years have been like Amendola, Edelman. He throws the ball to Gronk. If Gronk's healthy, I think Edelman and Gronk still catch the ball over Cooks. And I just don't think Cooks necessarily has that wide receiver, the outside wide receiver, which he's going to be playing there. I don't know if he can play the outside wide receiver as well as everybody thinks.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. I have him as a bust candidate for the exact same reasons. I think that with Bill Belichick, you just honestly never know. You really don't ever know what he's going to do. I mean, you got Edelman, Cooks, Amendola, Chris Hogan, Malcolm Mitchell, Gronk,
Mike Gillislee out of the backfield.
Gillislee, James White, Deion Lewis, Rex Burkhead. I mean, when you talk about weapons on weapons, I mean, he's got ammo galore, but you just never know who's going to be good.
It's just not fair. It's really just not fair.
No, but the thing is everyone's super high on Cooks. They're like, "Oh, dude, Cooks is a monster. Cooks is going to have a sick year with Brady."
I think Edelman's a much better value. I think Edelman's in a PPR, he could be a wide receiver 1 in my opinion.
Dude, you just never know what the hell's going on with the Patriots. They just win, man. I don't know. It's crazy. But I also had Cooks. And then one other guy that I have as a potential bust candidate, I always have him as a bust candidate just because he gets hurt a lot and you just never really can trust him, is Sammy Watkins.
Yep. He was on my list, but I just had one to talk about. I didn't really care.
We don't have to talk about Watkins a whole lot.
High on him. I don't think we're both pretty high on him. I think we're kind of low, 20 and 21. So, yeah, I mean, everybody hyping him up. They're saying he looks better than ever, but he always looks better than ever, and then he always gets hurt. So.
Yeah, dude, he's always a freak coming in, and everyone's like, oh, dude, Sammy Watkins got the burners. He's got this, he's got that. But, I mean, first of all, I don't really trust Tyrod Taylor. I love Ty God. I think Ty God's a beast.
See, I have him he was one of my breakouts. I didn't talk about him much. But I think he's in for a big year. I think the Bills' offense is going to be good again.
I don't know that you can trust Ty God. I think he's.
You got I'm telling you, when we talk about my next guy, man.
Just let him. All right, the bus section's over. Let him shoot your load and talk about Zay Jones.
Dude, Zay Jones. Listen to this: 158 catches, 1,746 yards. And 8 touchdowns in 12 games for East Carolina last year. That is ungodly numbers. I don't care. It's in college. I don't care who was guarding him. You catch the ball 158 times in any league. You're going to come in here. He's going to be the automatic right away number 2 with Robert Woods gone.
Yeah, they have him.
Sammy Watkins, they're going to cover Sammy Watkins because they know he's a proven – when he's healthy and good, he's proven. He's proven that he can catch the ball and do big things.
Just to reiterate, guys, we're talking about Zay Jones, the rookie out of Carolina, for the Buffalo Bills. Zay Jones. I mean, I do agree. I didn't truthfully know a whole lot about him. I looked up a little bit about him when you were mentioning him earlier. He definitely could be a stud. I watched some tape on him. He's pretty sweet. I just don't know if I trust that offense to pass the ball. I don't know if I trust Watkins. I don't know if I trust Zay Jones. But, I mean, he could be definitely a rookie sleeper. You never know.
I have him at wide receiver 42. You have him at wide receiver 66. So a little disagreement there. But like I said, I think that's one of those players where everybody has their player that they're just so high on. I've literally drafted him in every mock draft I have. I reach up almost maybe 1-2 rounds. I think by the week 3 or 4, he's a wide receiver 2 in almost every league. PPR, like I said, they're going to cover Watkins. They're going to cover the tight end. I think the tight end's Charles Clay, I think now. They're gonna.
I don't even know. Him, I have another rookie. I mean, yeah, I agree. Zay Jones could definitely be a solid rookie candidate. I didn't know a whole lot about him. That's the main reason why I have him ranked lower. But yeah, definitely some potential there. And then another rookie receiver in this division. I don't know if he's the same guy that you have. Probably the same guy. Are you talking about Ardarius Stewart?
No, I have the other one. I have Katie Cannon.
Get out.
Katie Cannon's on the Jets, too, so we did have –
Yeah, I have Ardarius Stewart, the guy out of Alabama. I think that – Dude, the main thing with the Jets that just interests me with these guys, these rookies, and I saw him too. I saw Cannon, and I thought maybe he's got a chance to be something good. But the main thing with these guys is that they just don't have anybody, man. They don't have any – like, they're in such a rebuild that if they like one of these young guys, they might just go out and – let him play. I think Ardarius Stewart had a great career at Alabama. I think they're going to utilize him a little more. He comes into the – I mean, dude, look at – I mean, some of these receivers that they have are absolutely trash. Tyrone Peake, Robbie Anderson, Jalen Marshall, Chad Hansen, Stewart.
Chad Hansen's the long-lost Hansen brother. I think he was the 4th one. But
and then, yeah, dude, then you go down the list. I mean, Katie Cannon's pretty far down the thing. They have Devin Street. With the exception of Anunwa, they don't really have any proven receivers. No. That's why I think that Ardarius Stewart could definitely be.
Yeah, I mean, Ardarius Stewart and Katie Cannon are both the same. They're both 5. I think they're 5'11", probably about 180-something pounds or so, something like that. Katie Cannon probably a little bit smaller, but Katie Cannon can fly down the field. Ardarius Stewart, although he's 5'11", he plays like a lot bigger than that, and I feel like he's also fast as hell. So, I mean, both those guys I feel like are definitely breakout candidates. Definitely, probably the best rookies that league has to offer.
Yeah, there wasn't
especially
many.
On that
there
team.
Really wasn't many.
There's not much on the Jets to be happy about, but I think, especially, and one thing to look out for, if Bryce Petty is the quarterback for the Jets, that's where I think.
Nah, man, look out for Hack Daddy, Christian Hackenberg.
But I mean, Hack Daddy are also an option, but they got Bryce Petty and they got Hackenberg, 2 guys that have, like, their age combined, I think, is less than Josh McCown. But that team is just a mess. Like I said,
terrible,
whatever defense they're playing,
Poor
please
Todd
pick them
Bowles.
up, stream them.
Poor Todd Bowles.
But all right, let's jump into some specific players now.
Did you want to do the division? Who you think the record stuff?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think we know who's going to win the division.
Yeah.
I mean,
spoiler alert: the Patriots win the AFC East
for the 38th straight year.
Yeah, for the 977th straight year. The Patriots.
I have them at 13-3.
That's exactly what I have.
I have them losing. Obviously, I have them losing at my Steelers this year. I think at Pittsburgh, I think they have a chance to lose.
Oakland's going to mess them up in Mexico.
Oakland in Mexico City. Yeah, but I actually have them losing Week 17 against the Jets. Even though the Jets are that bad, I think the Patriots will be resting everybody because they'll have the 1 seed locked up in the AFC already. So I have that as a loss, even though the Patriots could probably play Bill Belichick's children and grandchildren if they have them.
Something about Mexico City and Marshawn Lynch just screams – they're going to run all over the Patriots.
Mexico, Marshawn, and some
Mexico, Marshawn, dude. I think you can do it. For the Bills,
I have the Dolphins.
I have the Dolphins and the Bills both at 7-9.
I have the Dolphins at 8-8 and the Bills at 9-7. So I mean, pretty close.
I have them both at 7-9. If you look at their schedules, they have tough schedules. I mean, playing the AFC, they all played the AFC West this year, and the AFC West is no slouch.
And they play the NFC South. That's who they all play as well.
Another team that's no slouch with the Falcons. Obviously, have just gone to the Super Bowl. I think the Bucs are on the rise. But
Bucks, I think the Bucks are gonna surprise a lot of teams. But
yeah.
I think the main thing with the Dolphins that I don't like, and I don't know if you knew this, they play the London game this year in London against New Orleans, and then they actually play the next week. They don't get that usual bye week.
Yeah.
So they don't get the bye. So they come back and they have to play Tennessee, who's a pretty good offensive team. Last year, when
Tennessee's on the rise,
they were rolling pretty good. So I think that right there is back-to-back losses, which hurts them. So that's 2 losses. Then, like I said, they play Kansas City and Denver. I think they lose both of them. I think they lose both games in New England, and they lose to Atlanta. So I think right there, I mean, that's 7 losses on its own.
How many games you have the Jets winning?
Take one more in there.
How many games you have the Jets winning?
I have the Jets winning 3.
I
have them like I said, I have them beating New England. That
they
last
played
week
the
of the
doo-doo
year.
Browns.
I actually have the Browns beating them. That's one of the Browns wins. I have them I have the Jets beating Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's that one game where Jacksonville sometimes doesn't perform to the best of their ability. So
Ty
I think
and
the Jets
Curry
could
are not going to be happy about that.
I know. My friends.
Shout out to Ty and Curry, the 2 biggest Jaguar fans I've ever met.
But I think Jacksonville loses to the Jets. And I also have them actually beating the Carolina Panthers, because I don't think the Panthers are going to do much of anything this year. I think Cam Newton, that'll be a game where the Jets defense stands up for once. Maybe gets one of their defensive touchdowns that they are capable of getting here and there, but their defense is probably going to score more points than their offense.
I have them winning 2 games. I have them beating the Browns and then one other random game in there. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, he's got to give them a random game in there.
Yeah, I have them going 2-14. So that wraps up. So, hey, guys, that wraps up our first divisional spotlight. So thank you very much. We'll probably go and do the NFC South next time just because of the Falcons and the Super Bowl as well.
Yeah.
So look out for that in the next podcast. And now we're going to get to a segment. We're just going to talk briefly about we had a couple of topics, couple of players that we just wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we don't even have to talk about all these. I think we're gonna do Marshawn. We're gonna do Isaiah Crowell, because that's what I want to talk about. And I think we'll do Mike Gillis. Yeah,
we could skip. We'll do Gillisley. I really like to talk about San Diego's receiving core.
Yeah, not San Diego anymore, Matt.
Geez.
I did it
Los
too.
Angeles,
don't worry. I did it too.
Los Angeles.
So
damn.
They play out in LA now. And I think we should talk about maybe the Ravens backfield.
Yeah. All right. So first,
we'll hit Marshawn Lynch, because I know you were you're big on Marshawn.
Yeah,
so
dude.
Let's talk about Marshawn a little.
I'm a big fan of Marshawn Lynch. I think he's a monster. I think he's had some great years in the past. He went on into retirement for that year, ate a lot of Skittles and hung out and pumped a lot of iron. You could tell he's a big dude. He's freakish. I think that the main things coming in, he's got a good passing game, so they can't key on him. He's got fresh legs. I think with running back, I think if there's one position in professional sports where you can take a year off and just work out and do stuff and come back as good as, if not better, is NFL running back, because his body just took no problem. Like last year, he didn't get that usual pounding that all the other running backs took. He got to rest.
He ate plenty of Skittles.
Yeah, he ate his Skittles, dude. I think he comes in fresh as can be. I think he's excited. He loves Oakland. He loves where he's at. He loves Derek Carr. He loves the team.
Yeah.
And then 3, and probably the biggest thing is, I just think that Oakland has a really, really good offensive line.
Sure. Yeah.
I think, dude, you talk about up and down the offensive line, they're just solid. Penn, Osemele, Hudson, Jackson, and Marshall Newhouse, not as good, but, the other 4 are very solid.
Penn's definitely a big name.
Yeah, dude. Penn and Osemele. Dude, I think they're just very good, and I think that Lynch could feast behind these guys. And I just think the Raiders are going to be good. I really do, and I think the beast mode. And the other thing that's key with him, the other reason why I like Marshawn Lynch in fantasy a lot is because he doesn't have a whole lot of backup competition with Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington. So I probably won't be an all-time third down back, probably just like third and short. But I think he's definitely got a chance to be on the field a lot.
He might get to run the ball on third and short this time, Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, how about it? Jack Del Rio,
I'm sure
take
they'll
notes.
put them on the goal line.
Third and
Quick,
goal.
Matt, before I play devil's advocate, because I'm still big on Marshawn Lynch, but I like, when we have players we like and then players like you like him, I like him, but there's a couple things that are swaying me away from him. We do have a viewer question that we'll get to when we're going to hit a fantasy section later on, but we do have a viewer question on our YouTube from Dom Parmentary, our good friend. So we'll get to that in a little bit, Parm. Don't worry. Playing devil's advocate, though, Marshawn Lynch. We have Marshawn Lynch they have the second hardest strength of schedule against the run. So that's going to be a little difficult for them this year. They do have a good offensive line, but I'm anxious. And you can't really measure. It's hard to measure strength of schedule, but you have to at least put it into consideration a little bit. He's getting drafted at 21st overall. You wrote it backwards.
I know I wrote it backwards.
You can't
High
really see it anyway, but
go ahead. Sorry.
So you got 80. You got the 80 average draft position is going to be at 21 right now. So for a 10-team league, that's the first pick in the third round, which for me is a little too rich. I'll probably wait maybe later in the third, early fourth if I can squeeze that out. But 21's a little early for me. We have him at running back 12 consensus, 12 for you, 14 for me. So like I said, he's a good pick, and if he's there on the board and I need a running back in the third, end of the third, early fourth, I'll be looking at him. But for me,
I would definitely take him as my RB2.
He's consistent.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, he need to be an RB1 if you get good enough receivers. Realistically, he's going to put up numbers.
So next guy is your guy.
My guy, Isaiah Crowell, the Crow. Let me just give you I'm going to give you a couple numbers here, and that's really all I need to back it up. I think last season the Browns were bad. We know how bad the Browns were, right?
Yeah.
Last season, they were number 1 in yards from scrimmage per touch for running backs. How's that for a stat for you?
Wow.
They were number 3 in yards per carry with 4.8 yards per carry. The thing that hurt them the most is they had the fewest rush attempts. The combined running backs between Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, and I forget who their third running back was last year, but they only had 259 carries between however many of them were there last year. And Crowell still finished as running back 14. So for me, Isaiah Crowell can catch passes out of the backfield. They have an improved tight end in David Njoku, who I think is going to be another guy, but we'll save him when we feature tight ends in another podcast. But they have according to Pro Football Focus, they have the number 2 rated offensive line. So I think things are looking up for the Browns. I think they might get to
line improved.
They have the over-under for the Browns this year. We'll get my first gambling. They have the over-under at the Browns at 4.5 wins, I think, is the over-under this year.
Smash
Still probably going to take the under. Still probably taking the under. I think they get 4 wins, though. But like I said, I think they beat teams like the Jets. I think they beat Baltimore once just because those games normally get ugly. But I'm big on Isaiah Crowell. I have, like I said, RB8. You have him RB18, so a little discrepancy between us. But, hey, that's what it's all about. I'd be more than do I think I'd have him as RB1? If I have a stud wide receiver, yes. But other than that, I'm taking a wide receiver
no
too.
Way. All right, so I agree with you on a lot of those things and a lot of those numbers. I did not know some of those stats. But, he definitely has some potential. I think a couple things hurt him. I think PPR hurts him because they did use Duke Johnson when they were down a lot. He came in and caught the ball out of the backfield a lot more.
He'll do that again. I mean, he'll get some third down looks again.
I will say they do have an improved offensive line. They just got Kevin Zeitler from the Bengals, and I think they got J.C. Treader. They have Joe Thomas, who's about as good of an offensive lineman as there is.
Can't ask for much more. Yep.
But I think the biggest issue with Isaiah Crowell is he's a Brown, and no. But seriously, they have a lot of dysfunction in this offense and in this organization. And the biggest issue with why I can't trust or buy a Brown running back is they're always, always, always losing. And whether it be Osweiler, Hogue, or Cody Kessler, or Deshaun Kaiser, whoever they end up going with, I think they should probably go with Osweiler. But be that as it may, I just cannot trust a Brown running back with them.
And that's perfectly fair.
But I agree. You definitely have some solid points for them.
So let's go ahead. We'll skip Gillislee. We have already sold him enough. He's going to be a stud. Let's go to the
Chargers. No. I want to break out with Gillislee.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it. I want to hear what your rebuttlement is here.
I agree. You think he could be good. I know he's a solid player. I like him a lot. He can be a good player, but the issue with him is he's going to get Bill Belichick syndrome, and that is the fact that
the BBS.
Look at these running backs they got. James White, stud in the Super Bowl. You got Dion Lewis, Gillislee, and Rex Burkhead.
Well, rumor has it Dion Lewis is going to get cut. So
dude, he might. But that's the thing.
That's a rumor.
But that's the thing about these Patriots running backs is you can never trust them because they could be great one week. And then look at my perfect thing is Jonas Gray. You remember Jonas Gray?
Oh, I remember.
He ran for 250 and 3 touchdowns against my beloved Colts, and I was crying because I was probably like 17 at the time, and I was still crying because I couldn't believe it. Everyone's like smashing that. Adam, get him on the team. And then he misses a team meeting or something like that, and then he's cut next week. Gone.
Yep.
Cut him. Now he's bagging groceries at Giant Eagle right now.
For the Saskatchewan Rough Riders or something. I don't know.
I think Gillislee could fall into that similar trap with you just don't know if he's going to get the touches every week.
My biggest thing, though, with him, Matt, is there's 18 rushing touchdowns to be replaced on that team. If he can steal 9 of them, like if he can steal half of them, that's running back 2 numbers.
You're right.
Running back 2 numbers.
You're right. I mean, he could be good.
They have the easiest strength of schedule against the run, too. Number one easiest strength of schedule against the run. So
a lot of Tom Brady QB sneaking going on, man.
7 or fewer in the box. 5.9 yards per carry last year.
I'm not a Gillislee believer. Go ahead.
Anyway, LA Chargers, wide receiver. They drafted Mike Williams out of Clemson.
They get back Keenan Allen.
They get back Keenan Allen. They have Hunter Henry and Antonio Gates. Gates is 137 years old, but he still catches touchdowns.
Tyrell
Williams. Tyrell Williams. What are your thoughts? Who do you think the standout there is? Do you think Keenan comes back? I don't really know.
If I'm picking one receiver, I'm probably still going with Keenan Allen.
I think he's the one.
He's got probably the best rapport with Rivers. They've played together the most. I know he gets hurt a lot, and so, got to be wary. Mike Williams has a chance to come out and do a lot of big things.
They have him at wide receiver. We have him at wide receiver 70. They have him even lower. The people are not high on him right now.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I think he could definitely be a good rookie good rookie wide receiver. But you know who you got to give some respect to is Tyrell Williams. I mean, he's coming off a 70-catch, 1,000-yard, 7-touchdown season. I just think he's going to get swept under the rug a little bit with Allen back. I'm still picking Allen. I would probably take Allen as a wide receiver 2 or maybe even a flex. We'll have to see what kind of load Mike Williams is going to get. And I just think Tyrell Williams is going to be tough to trust. I do like Hunter Henry. I really do like Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I remember last year for a while I was running Hunter Henry and Antonio Gates on my team, and it was a toss-up to play which one because, they both – I would play one, the other one would score, I'd play the other one would score. Phillip Rivers doing that to me. But
Antonio Gates, if he can get out of the wheelchair and suit up, he could be all right, but he's getting a little old. I think
getting up there.
Future of that team as far as tight end. And Phillip Rivers loves the tight end, as we know. So he has a chance to be a solid tight end, Hunter Henry. I'd look out for him for sure.
I don't really think – I think, like I said, Keenan Allen, I've been doing in the mock drafts. He's been – I have the 8th pick in my draft. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But he's fallen to me. I like him, but he might be one of those guys, again, that two boomer bust to trust. I don't really know. I know he gets a lot of catches, but – does he do that? Is he that same receiver he normally was before he got hurt? Does he come
back? Tough off the ACL injury too. Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but
I like Keenan Allen over.
Yeah, I think he'll be. Like I said, I definitely, if he's there as a flex, I'm no doubt jumping on it. Wide receiver 2, I'd have to think a little bit harder, but I'm probably still pulling the trigger on him. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to keep it moving a little, why don't we go to? Do you want to talk about Ravens or Doug Martin?
We could do both.
We talked a little about the Ravens earlier, but
Ravens.
We'll hit them both up.
The Ravens are a tough one, and the only thing that I think makes it a little easier for this discussion is the fact that we're talking PPR action.
Yep. I think Woodhead's awesome.
If you take away PPR, this is a really tough thing. So if you're not in a PPR league, Ravens running backs are probably something to avoid until midseason. But if we are talking PPR, which our league is PPR, so if you are talking about a PPR league, Danny Woodhead, I'm all in on. I've had him in many years in PPR running back. He's a phenomenal guy out of the backfield.
I finally got him and tore his ACL. But, that's my luck. So
yeah, that's me. You got to poor Danny Woody.
But just something to keep in mind, too, though, Matt, is Kenneth Dixon suspended for 4 games. So right there, you're down to Terrence West and Danny Woodhead in the backfield for 4 weeks. Terrence West I think if you get him, he's a must start for 4 weeks.
I don't know, though. I don't know about that because I'm looking at their depth chart right now, and they have Javorius Allen up there, and they actually have Lorenzo Taliaferro listed as number 1. So
I don't. From what I'm hearing, Taliaferro and Javorius Allen, Buck Allen, neither of them are even on the rankings. I think I remember. I don't know what depth chart. I remember Javorius Allen. They're saying he got cut, but I'm not really 100% sure.
They cut him and they re-signed him.
But okay, well, I mean, like I said, I'm not really sold
I think
too
they
much
cut.
on them.
I think they cut Buck Allen, but I don't think they cut Javorius Allen. I don't know how that
Okay.
works. Kind of like the Philly Brown, Corey Brown thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they re-signed him as
Yeah, I think they
Javorius.
told him to. They cut Buck Allen and they
right.
re-signed
But
Javorius Allen.
just the thing that I'm looking at too is I looked online on my the fantasy footballers, another people I look at too. They have the 6th easiest strength of schedule in weeks 1 through 4 against the run. So I mean, that's just something to keep in mind. Like if you're late in that first round not late in your first round, but late in your draft, and you're looking. I mean, Terrence West is going. He's probably going to running back 40 something.
You like Terrence West? I mean, he could be okay. I don't know if I trust him.
Running back 33, 35 for you. I think he's the starter for 4 weeks. Woodhead comes in on second, sometimes third, sometimes second down, gets some catches.
I don't know, man.
I'm
offensive coordinators really fall in love with Danny Woodhead when they see all he can do for him out of the backfield. So,
I mean, he's a lock RB2 for me, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
No doubt. But I mean, like I said, I think you can put Terrence West in there as a flex realistically for 4 weeks. I mean, after 4 weeks, I don't like any back except for Danny Woodhead in that offense. But that's my take on that one. So
yeah, I think not PPR. Honestly, the Ravens got to stay away from him. You're right. Yeah. Terrence West could be okay. Yep. But who knows? I mean, I like Danny Woodhead a lot. I think the dude's a heck of a player. I think Flacco's going to like him a lot. They do have an improved receiving core, so they might just focus on chucking the ball a little bit.
They got healthy
with Macklin in there, healthy Rashad Perriman and Mike Wallace obviously can field. So they might try to spread it out a little bit more, and Woodhead might fit that bill a little bit better. But I do like.
Who else you got?
Let's see.
Who else you got?
Well, we could talk. I like Doug Allen. Or Doug Martin, I should say, not Doug Allen. Buck
Martin. Allen on your mind again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like Buck Allen.
Buck Allen, yeah, dude. Buck Allen's my man. Doug Martin is a guy that definitely something to talk about. It's up in the air with the 4-game suspension for violating the drug policy in the NFL. I don't know.
Probably taking growth hormones to get a couple inches taller.
Yeah, dude. What is it? The muscle hamster.
Muscle hamster.
I think even though he's suspended 4 games, don't count him out. Because
I agree. I agree.
The one thing that benefits him is that he only played 8 games last year, and he still had a pretty productive season in those 8 games.
Yeah,
and absolutely. He's only 1 season removed from a 1,400-yard performance. So the dude is not far off from solid football. I know he gets hurt a little bit, and he's tough, but I think in PPR he's a good every down back when he's in. And the main thing with him is he doesn't have a whole lot of competition behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacquizz Rodgers won't do much. Charles Sims. So I think the job is his when he gets back. That's the key thing.
I agree. I agree with that.
I think when he gets back.
I don't really have.
Go ahead.
I don't have much to say on him. I think they have him right now at ADP 62. So I mean that's round 7 for us. Right at the beginning of round 7. I think that 4-game suspension, I think it's probably about where you should be going. Maybe a little later for me. I'd have to wait a little longer. Like I'd probably be waiting until the 8th round.
I think he's the type of guy that people will be skeptical about because of the suspension. And with that skepticism, I think you could see him slip, and then he's not a bad running back to grab. Because I think if you stash him on your bench maybe first couple weeks and he comes out with fresh legs, who knows? He could be a darn good running back. He's proven he can do it in the past. I like the Bucs offense. I'm definitely buying the Buccaneers offense.
I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. I think their offense is going to be doing a lot of big things. They get to play the Saints twice a year, and they get to play Carolina's a good defense. The Falcons defense is not normally very good, so that's 4 games right there where they might have a lot of offensive firepower going. So
I like Doug Martin. I think when he comes back from the suspension, I think as long as he stops using drugs, solid thing.
The muscle hamster.
The muscle hamster dude could be solid.
Before we jump into our golf a little bit, Matt, let's go to our viewer question.
All right, cool.
Dominic Parm, you're going to have to answer this one. For those of you who don't know, Dominic Parmentary, his nickname's Parm. He's one of our best friends. He's in our league with us this year, and we did our draft lottery last night where I was getting the 8th pick. Matt, you got the 4th pick. You got pick number 4. And Parm, who's this question, got the 9th pick. So this one, Matt's going to have to help with. I don't want to give too much away on my end because I have the 8th pick. And like I said, I don't want to give away what I'm going to do to Parm. But his question is, who is a good 9th pick in the first round? And then the turnaround pick. So the turnaround pick would be pick number 12 in the second round. PPR league, 10-team PPR.
That's a good question, Dom. Thanks for the question. We always appreciate viewer questions. And just before I answer that question, I just love to throw it out there to anyone else listening or any viewers. We always encourage interaction with other people. Tell us your thoughts. Ask us your questions. We're trying to spur some debate. We're trying to give some answers. We're trying to have some discussion. So always get involved. That's the thing that makes this podcast and this website and everything so great, is when our viewers, message us in or tweet in or whatever, and it's all about interaction for us, so really appreciate that. So keep the questions coming for sure. For me, Parm, I think what you're going to want to do, and at number 9, I think you're going to have to go definitely with the wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, back-to-back flip, because it's going to be tough to get a good running back on your way back. So I think you definitely have to go with either running back at 9 or at 11 or 12. So I think you got to go 1 and 1. I think a guy that maybe you'll have a chance at in that spot is maybe looking at like a Jordan Howard, a Jay Ajayi, Melvin Gordon, depending on if you really like him.
Devontae Freeman might be there.
Devontae Freeman might slip.
No guarantees on that.
So I think those are definitely some guys that you could see as
big
being
on Devontae Freeman this year.
I don't know about him so much, if he'll be there or not. I think those are the kind of running backs you're looking at getting. Gordon, Howard, Ajayi, even Gurley. I'm a little higher on Gurley this year.
Yeah, no, we both have Gurley pretty high up there, though, I think. 10 and 11.
And then the wide receivers you're looking at, you probably could go and snag a guy like a Hilton, an Evans maybe even, depending on who goes in that first round. I really love Mike Evans. I really love T.Y. Hilton, obviously, as a Colts fan. I think, if you were to snag one of those, maybe not tier 1 running backs, but a tier 2, and then another tier 2 receiver. If you pair a tier 2 and a tier 2, that's a pretty solid 9-12.
And something to keep in mind, and like I said, I can't get too much into this because I have the 8th pick, so I don't want to give away my Parm. You got to think you may have a realistic chance to get Ezekiel Elliott if he's suspended, because that might scare away people. He might follow you at 9, so you need to understand, you need to know if you're willing to take that risk or not on those 2. But my big thing is, this draft, from what I've seen in mocks, and I don't know about you, Matt, if you've done a lot of mock drafts or not, but it's very hard to go wide receiver. It's easier to go running back because you can get PPR wide receivers late, but going running back or going wide receiver really makes it hard to get a running back 1. You got to hope that Isaiah Crowell is up there because he could be an RB1 with a stud 2 wide receivers, or if you have that much faith in the Mike Gillislee, or maybe if Leonard Fournette somehow falls to the 3rd round. I don't see it happening. But then your RB1s are going to be guys like Ty Montgomery, Christian McCaffrey, and Joe Mixon. So, I don't know.
I think I agree. My personal opinion is I would try to get a tier 2 receiver and a tier 2 running back, whatever you flip. That's all on preference, but I think you got to go you got to try to get one of each just because it gets so thinned out coming back.
Or if you're feeling risky farm, go ahead and go QB and tight end and just take Rodgers, Gronk, and screw up everything.
We actually have one more question, actually 2 more questions that have been tweeted into us. I'd like to get to. The first one is a very serious one, and I do like it. I think that's why we're going to talk about it, because it is up for debate. We have thanks to Ty Morzilla, our good friend Ty Morzilla, for texting in his question, why are the Jags defense not listed as higher?
Let's see. What do we have him? I have him pretty high, I think, don't I? I have him at 15. I think their cornerback combo is awesome. Yeah. They got A.J. Bouye, the UCF protege, and Jalen Ramsey. I think that's really good. They still got Leonard Williams. Leonard. No,
they have.
No, he's not.
No, they have Bouye and Jalen Ramsey, and then they have at linebacker, they have Telvin Smith, and they have Paul Posluszny. Then they have Ngakoue and Malik Jackson, and let me see. I'm going to have to check out their depth chart.
Yeah, no, who's the guy? They just drafted 2 years ago. They drafted one out of Florida, and he got hurt right away. That's who I'm thinking of. The GM.
Oh. It's not Jalen Smith, is it?
No. Dante Fowler Jr.
Dante Fowler, you're right.
That's who I'm thinking of. I don't know why I thought Leonard Williams, but no, they got Dante Fowler Jr. coming off the defensive end. I think that their defense is definitely good, but they're just, to me, they're not proven enough, and they play in a division where, they have to play the Colts, who the Colts offense is good, so you can't take a lot away from that. But then you also have, like I said, they got Miles Jack. They just drafted Miles Jack too. So I mean, he's 2 years ago. He's got a year experience under his belt, and I think they could be good. They definitely have more upside, I think, than downside and more potential. But
definitely some upside. I think their schedule doesn't lend them to a great year, but they also have a chance to be decent. I think they could use some safety help as well, Barry Church and Tashawn Gibson. I know Gibson's okay. Barry Church is getting a little old. I don't know about him. I do think Bouye and Ramsey is as good as a cornerback combination as that is. Could be good. And then Posluszny, Jack, and Telvin Smith are all solid defensive players. I think that's the issue is they have a lot of solid players, no standouts, with the exception of maybe Ramsey. And they do go up against some talented players in that division with T.Y. Hilton. I mean, I know that the offense for the Texans isn't the greatest, but the Titans and the Colts could be okay. I think they're a middle-of-the-road defense that could end up surprising some people, but I couldn't quite rank them high. I have them right in the middle of the road. I think there's a lot of worse defenses. I think there are several better, though, however.
And like I said, I go again to that the ultimate draft kit from the fantasy footballers. They have the Jaguars as having the best not best defense, but the strength of schedule for their defense is the best. So, I mean, that's another upside to look at.
It's an easy schedule. The AFC South does have a fairly easy schedule this year, so they are definitely –
if they can prove it for a few games, they might be somebody worth picking up. And, I mean,
I think a big issue for the Jaguars' defense, however, is also their offense.
Right.
Blake Bortles puts them in some tough spots with picks.
Man, you're just ragging on my boy today, man. Come on,
dude. Bortles is tough, man. He let me down, man. I needed him to play better for Allen Robinson last year, but the big thing with me is I do think that they get put in some tough spots with Bortles throwing the picks and also with their lack of running game. I do think Leonard Fournette could definitely help that running game out a lot. But,
absolutely, I agree.
Got to watch out for the Jags defense. Who knows? Maybe we could be wrong about that. So thank you, everyone, for your questions. That's really important. I really appreciate it.
Did you have another one or no? Was there
we actually had a funny one from Kyle Miller tweeted in at KMizzy7 tweeted. This is another league reference.
Did he offer you a trade already?
No, he said, many years later, the Darren McFadden and Arian Foster for Saints D and Reggie Bush trade finally is somewhat fair. Agreed.
For those of you that don't know Kyle, he is known for making the craziest trade offers in the history of trade offers. He will offer you 8 players for one, thinking that means it's good. So
back when I was not as good of a commissioner as I am now, Kyle swindled a lot of people and really hurt the integrity of our league through a very bogus trade. But we have since rectified that, and we've made sure that trades like that don't get through the cracks. But I would have to go out and answer your question, Kyle, and say that, yes, that trade is pretty fair. It's just completely garbage, but it's fair. Hey, with Ezekiel Elliott going Conor McGregor in the bar, maybe Darren McFadden could be the best player in that trade. You never know. So definitely
run DMC, man. Arkansas
run DMC. Hey, that's going to be the end of our football section. Guys, thank you so much for all the questions. As always, please tweet us in, message us in, get your questions in. We'll be happy to answer them.
Let's move to the gentleman's sport. We got the PGA. We got the 146th Open Championship, Royal Birkdale in the UK, Matt. Par 70, 7,200 yards. Who do you like?
So I actually had a thing we should do. I think what we're going to do is I think each of us should pick 3 dudes. Like you said, we're going to pick 3 guys.
So I can't pick Michelle Wee, right?
3, yeah, they have to be in the field. Gentlemen only. And what we're going to do is that we're going to pick 3 guys that we think are going to win and then maybe a sleeper pick. And then what we're going to do, tweet us or message us in, what do you think the bet should be for whoever between Ben and I, our picks?
Oh, boy.
Whoever does better, message us in. Let us know what you think the bet should be, whether it's, do something embarrassing, do something for money, something crazy, whatever you think it should be.
How are we doing it? Best combined score? Best overall score between them?
No, let's do best finish.
Player?
Best finish.
Of any player?
Whoever, yep.
So whatever one of our players finishes best.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
So I have 3 right here, and I have an alternate. So if we match up, I got a guy in the back of my mind.
So we have to have 3 and then an alternate and then a dark horse.
Yep. Three in the dark horse. So,
all right, so go ahead.
Who do you like in here at Royal Birkdale? Who do you think for golf?
I got one, Jason Day.
All right, I don't have him. That's a good pick, though.
Go ahead. Say one of yours now.
My guy, in no particular order, I have Justin Rose.
Okay, I don't have him, so that's good. So you got Mr. CJ Curry likes him as well, I think I said this
Justin
year.
Rose, yeah.
Justin
shout
Rose,
out to at CC2Smooth earlier for the tweet in mentioning that he was taking Justin Rose and
Johnny Rahm,
the Spaniard bomber.
I don't have him, but that's okay.
I agree with CJ. I think that Justin Rose is just he's a major proven, he's a tour proven vet. I think he can go out there and make a splash.
This course is different than a lot of the open courses because it is, yes, of course it's going to be windy. It is a links style course, but it's not as long as you think. Like I said, 7,200 yards, but there's only 2 par 5, and it's holes 15 and 17. So you're going to have to wait a long time if you have that front 9, especially on Saturday and Sunday.
I think that bodes well for guys like Justin Rose, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll bode well for the second guy I have too, which is Ricky Fowler. I think he's been on the cusp every year.
Bastard.
He's been on the cusp every year. And I just think well, how about this? Why don't we not, neither one of us taking that? If you have him too, we both go.
I have Ricky down too. I have Ricky.
Okay, so neither of us can take Ricky.
You can have Ricky. I have another guy. You have a Ricky. I can have another guy.
All right.
But I do agree with you. I think Ricky, it's his time, man. He's been playing such good golf this year. He's in such control of his game. He just seems like he's playing really, really well.
It's time.
He's due.
I think he's
definitely due. I think the course sets up nice for him as well. I think it fits his shape. I think he should be good. All right, so in place of Ricky Fowler, I'm going to go with Henrik Stenson. I think Stenson plays darn good golf overseas. I think he has that link-style game. He's a grinder.
He's just been so bad for me this year. I watched him play at the Arnold Palmer, and he was just not very good. But you're right. He could bring his game back.
I think he's due. I like Henrik. He's proven himself in this tournament. I like him.
Hopefully, he keeps his pants on. Doesn't have to go in the water, but shouldn't be any water he has to worry about at the links course. So
don't want to get the Hugo Boss gear dirty. Go ahead. Who's your
third one's gonna be my normal favorite. It's gonna be Phil Mickelson.
All right.
I'm going to take Phil. British Open, you won it, I think, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. But
gotta love lefty.
The course, I'm a lefty, so I got to go with my boy. And I just think with his brother on the bag now, no more bones. I just think it's time, and I think he's going to get something going. And I like Phil.
Yeah, Phil, man. Phil's a toss-up. He can go out there and light it up, or he can go out there and struggle. He's not a bad pick in the majors, like you said. He's a proven guy. Definitely like Phil, and with the new caddy on the bag, who knows? Maybe they'll get some chemistry going and click. He definitely, I think he can score well here. He's definitely not a bad pick. My final pick is another guy who I think is just really due, and he plays such solid golf. And this year he's been playing so well in the big tournaments. I love Hideki Matsuyama. I think Hideki Matsuyama is due for a big major breakthrough. I think he's been playing so well. He came up just short in the U.S. Open. He ran into
he grinded in that U.S. Open, man. He shot
dude. He put some pressure. Shout out to Brooks Koepka for fending him off. But you gotta give Hideki a lot of love because he played his heart out in that, and I think he's gonna have a chance. If I had to pick one guy, I think Matsuyama might be my guy. Maybe Rose. I don't know, but I like Matsuyama.
Neither one of us picked DJ. I like it.
I don't know, man. He's tough. He's been struggling this year a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, the no-show in the Masters, and then basically the no-show in the U.S. Open. He just doesn't strike me like he's got it this year. I don't know.
All right, my dark horse. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to pick the Englishman. It's not Lee Westwood. It's going to be Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh yeah, Tommy Fleetwood. Yeah, dude, he's a good.
Tommy Fleetwood. He's been playing some good golf lately. I watched him again play at Bay Hill. He's got a nice, smooth swing. He's a little guy, short guy, but he's got the long hair. He uses the blue Nike driver.
Yeah, dude. He's a stylish man. He's the style, dude.
He goes out. I think he has the game to do it. And, I mean, it's in his home country. So what more could you ask for? Tommy Fleetwood's going to be my dark horse.
For me, I'm going with a super, super dark horse. I don't know if anybody really even knows this name. You probably will. So I'm going with a 23-year-old in his rookie year out of San Diego State, Xander Schauffele.
I like it.
Xander Schauffele. The dude coming off a tie for 5th at the U.S. Open. The man played fantastic, and he just won the Greenbrier. He's got 3 top 10 finishes this year. He's playing really well in his rookie year. I really like Xander. I think he's got
a great Scrabble name too.
Yeah, Shoffley.
A lot
Xander
of Scrabble points.
I really do. I think he's got a chance to make a splash. I do think he's going to be a special talent. He's had a great year as a rookie. So gotta love him. So you got Ricky, Phil, and Day.
Jason Day, yep, and then Tommy Fleetwood.
And then I've got Matsuyama, Rose, Stenson and Xander Shoffley. Okay.
Way to pick the Americans there. You got one of them.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, tweet us in.
Tweet us in. We'll get a little bet going, I guess.
We'll have to get a little bet going. I'm excited for Royal Birkdale. I think it's going to be a great Open Championship. So, looking forward to that.
All right, now. So, Matt, let's move a little bit. We're going to spend a lot of time on this just because our main focus is obviously right now getting into football season. We're going to focus on football. We are going to talk a little bit about what's been an awesome NBA offseason so far.
Yep,
so we're going to
go with the NBA offseason here.
Let's just talk a little bit. We're going to start out, talk about the draft a little, and talk about our Sixers. Both of us are big Sixers fans. Markelle Fultz, you got the number 1 pick. I mean, I'm excited, man. We got J.J. Redick for a contract. We signed Amir Johnson. I think we're a playoff team, which is something that I never thought I'd say for a couple years.
100%, man. Trust the process. Trust that process because
it's finally here.
They've had an awesome offseason. It was a shame when Fultz went down with that ankle injury, so we didn't get to watch a lot of him.
Not severe, though, so he'll be okay.
No, he'll be fine.
Soon.
But I think he's a fantastic scorer. He's just the piece we needed. We got Redick. We got him to that 1-year deal. I think that's great. Joel Embiid is a monster. Simmons going to make his debut. Really, things are looking up for the Sixers, man. I trust the process. I think they could do as well as the 6th seed, maybe even the 5th, if things depending. I would probably have to put them at the 6th seed in the East.
Yeah, I had them at the 6th seed. I had them at the 5 seed, but I think the 6th seed is more realistic. But like I said,
I mean, who knows? The East is tough. I think they definitely have a chance. I think they're definitely going to be in the playoffs, and I think they'll have a home playoff series in 2 years. Yep. So I really like the Sixers. Things are looking up.
So now we'll go to the other thing that happened. What do you got on the draft?
I have I don't know if you had a team that you thought had the best draft out of anybody. I have one team in particular that I think had just a spectacular draft. I think they nailed it. I think they've got some players that are going to really help the team immediately.
Who's that?
That would be – I know they've struggled lately and it's been dysfunctional and a lot of turmoil, but I'm in love with the Sacramento Kings draft, man. I think they did a great job.
I'd say they'd probably be one of the best. As far as the Kings are concerned, because they took Justin Jackson from North Carolina. I know
solid.
They got him. He's a solid guard. I don't know how much he'll translate to the NBA, but he's definitely going to be a work. He's going to be working to try and get up there.
I think he's an immediate role player, and I think De'Aaron Fox is the truth.
Probably one of the best players.
I love De'Aaron Fox. I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's got a great work ethic. He could work on his shooting a little bit, but he's a fantastic point guard. He's got a motor like crazy.
Sure.
I like him a lot. I think they have a project in Harry Giles. I think we'll have to find out how good he can truly be, the Duke product. We didn't get that big of a sampling of him this past year because of all of his injuries.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy, man. But
if he could stay healthy, I think he has a chance to be a really solid kind of guy. He's got that little mid-range game. He's a freak athlete. He can protect the rim. But the guy that I think that has a chance to really, I would love to see him break through is Frank Mason III.
Frank Mason III?
Yeah, the Wooden Award winner.
Kansas Wooden Award.
They drafted him in the 2nd round. He's a Kansas Jayhawk, Rock Chalk.
That's a steal in the 2nd round.
I think so too. I think they got him.
He's a good player.
He's a hard worker. The man can flat out shoot the basketball. I mean, I think he fits what they're trying to do. I think they could throw him in some kind of combo guard looks, try to breed him, and who knows, he could be a great role player down the road. I don't know if he's going to be ever a starting point guard, but I think he could be a good role player in this league for sure. So the Kings get my A+ on the draft. I think they brought in a lot of guys that really have a chance to do some stuff away.
I think they had a good draft. I think the Celtics had a good draft. I think the team that won the draft, and it leads me to my next one, is the Timberwolves. I personally love everything that they did on draft night, trading Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine. I know Zach LaVine's a rising stud. Chris Dunn didn't really have an impressive year last year, but getting Jimmy Butler and putting him with Wiggins and Cat, and then they signed Jeff Teague to a contract. I just think their draft night, making that trade for Jimmy Butler, it just won them the draft.
Yeah, dude, I think we'll just and that we could get moving from the draft and move on because we were going to talk about Jimmy Butler as well. I think that him and reuniting with Tibbs has a chance to really flourish. I think Butler's an elite player in this league. I think he's as good of a tier 2 player as we have. I wouldn't put him up there with your Westbrooks and Currys and Durant's and LeBrons.
Second team.
But I think he's a second tier. I think he's a top 10 player in the league. I think he can shoot a little bit. He's a great scorer. underrated defender, dude. He's a really good defender.
I agree.
He brings a proven presence to this young team. I think that they have a chance. I think they can break into the playoffs this year. I think they will. I think they have.
I said 6 seed.
I think similar to the Sixers, I think they have a chance to get the 6 or 7 seed.
Yep.
It's tough. The West is tough, though, man. The West is a grinder.
I mean, you got the Warriors. I just think I don't think anybody's beating them. I mean,
no, but
and
the West is a grinder. But I think
the West made so many moves, and it's just fun.
Yeah, and that brings us to our next guy to talk about. Paul George to the Thunder.
PG-13.
Finally getting Russell Westbrook some help. Thank God. He is probably so happy. I think PG-13 is a monster. I think he can shoot the ball. He can score. He's going to provide that second man. I don't know. I don't really know who you go to when you need a bucket, Russell or George. I probably Russell still, but Russell Westbrook just needed that guy, man. He needed another guy that he could play with because that poor dude, they took years off his life this year, man. They took years off that dude's life.
They'd pass the ball to Oladipo in the corner, and he'd shoot, and he'd just miss every time. And
they needed that.
Dougie McBuckets was their best option when he was on the floor.
Yeah, dude, they have some really good talent now in OKC, and I think that they really can make a splash.
I'm a believer in – I think that if they have a good year and can make it to maybe the Western Conference semis or maybe even the Western Conference Finals, how it works out, that Paul George could stick around.
I hope he does. I really do. I hope he does, man. I hope he does, and then I hope they make some kind of splash in free agency next year too. Because I'd love to see the Thunder play well. I want Russ to get a ring so bad.
I love Westbrook.
I think Russ plays too hard. He deserves.
I mean, I love KD, but after what he did to them, like
it's a tough situation, man. I loved KD too, but I'm happy for Russ and I'm happy for Paul George and the Thunder. I hope they have a great year. This one was the
big head. Vent? You ready to vent? Let's vent, Matt.
Yeah,
go ahead. Dude, I know what you're going into.
Chris Paul to the Rockets. Now I get it from Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul wanted out of LA. He didn't like Doc Rivers. He definitely didn't like Austin Rivers. They just weren't winning. It was frustrating. They were just in a very big lull with where they were in the West. They just couldn't break through and get to that conference finals round because they just didn't have it. I mean, DeAndre Jordan is just not an elite center in terms of playoff basketball. The man can't shoot a free throw. He's, Blake Griffin has struggled at times with injury.
He can't stay healthy at all.
Can't stay healthy. So Chris Paul's frustration, I understand. I understand why he wants to get out of LA. But why when you move James Harden to point guard and he leads the league in assists and you win 16 more games and you just play your butt off, and I know Harden struggled in the against the Spurs down the stretch, and that's what cost him the series. Because I'm a huge Harden guy. I love Harden as a scorer. I think his defense needs work, but I think he's a great player. Yeah, dude, I think he's a awesome beard. But I don't know why they went out and got Paul. I understand he's a great point guard. He's a Hall of Famer, and he brings a good defensive presence to that team. But now you bounce Harden back to shooting guard. And now you might end up back in that similar spot that you were at before where who's shooting the ball and who's bringing the ball up and who do we have the ball in his hands. And the thing that I don't necessarily – and the thing that really most frustrates me is what they gave up to get him.
They gave up everything.
They gave up Bev, who Patrick Beverley, say what you want. He could be a douche. He could be –
He was your favorite player on 2K. So.
Yeah, dude. Bev plays his butt off night in and night out. He's a great hustle guy. He's a defender. He's an underrated shooter. I mean, the man made some shots in that playoff series against the Spurs. He's an underrated shooter, and they got rid of him. I think he was a very big heart and soul kind of guy, and they got rid of Lou Will, and Lou Will was arguably could have been the sixth man of the year. Eric Gordon ended up winning it, but Lou Will was right neck and neck with his teammate. So. And I believe they gave up a draft pick and Decker, too. Eric Decker.
Sammy
not
Decker.
Eric Decker. Sam Decker.
Sammy Decker.
Sam
Eric
Decker.
plays football.
I was thinking of Eric Decker's wife.
That's right.
Sam Decker.
So
I think they just gave up a lot of young pieces, and they gave up some young talent, and they also gave up some really veteran core leadership.
It's not a good move on my part.
And I just don't think he was the best fit for them. I don't think he was the fit they needed. But, I mean, he's a great player. I think, they still have one of the best backcourts.
If they get Melo, I think it makes a little more sense just because then they have another defender and it makes them – they can spread the ball more. But right now it's those two. They have Eric Gordon off the bench. Those three won't be on the court at the same time ever together.
Yeah.
And then you have the guy like what's his name? Who's the I can't even think of his name.
Ryan
whatever.
Anderson.
The guy, Ryan Anderson can shoot the three, and you got the guy that can't shoot free throws. So to me, it makes no sense. I don't know if they got better. I don't think they got worse. I think the Clippers realistically got better. I know they lost.
Well, the Clippers, what they did, I don't know if the Clippers didn't necessarily get better, but what they did do is they did get the most for Chris Paul that they were going to get. He was leaving.
Yeah,
he was leaving anyway. Sure. They got something for him.
Chris Paul did the right thing. Though. He was because LA's been good to him though. They signed him. They gave him all this money, and he told him, he goes, listen, I'm not going to sign with you guys. So if you want to make a trade for me, make a trade for him. So they signed him, traded him off, and there you go.
Yeah, I think it was a win-win for all parties except for the Rockets. I don't know if the Rockets really got that much better.
I don't think so. But the biggest one of the offseason, can we agree, though? Not biggest, but probably most prominent free agent of the offseason in Gordon Hayward?
In terms of a signing, yeah, because with Butler, George, and Paul all being traded, this was the biggest free agent signing would be Gordon Hayward. I like it a lot. I think that with Brad Stevens bringing him in, I think he's a good fit.
Reuniting together, yeah.
I think he's a great fit. I think Gordon Hayward's a good two-way player. We'll see how he fits alongside Isaiah Thomas because I think Isaiah Thomas does demand the ball a little more than he needs to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I do like Gordon Hayward to the Celtics. I think the Celtics are going to contend in the East yet again. And also, I think Jason Tatum, a heck of a good draft pick. That's another great draft pick out of Duke, Jason Tatum. I think that dude has a chance to really make an impact early.
He's been playing really good. He played real good in the summer league. So
yeah, very good. One last NBA topic. This is my question for you, and this is feel free for the viewers to message in or tweet in or just to spur the debate. What do you think? We had some 2K rating reveals today. What do you think was the bigger insult? They ranked the process, Joel Embiid himself, as an 86 overall. He was a little frustrated about that.
Yeah, he didn't want to get
fined
again.
They also rated the cover man, Kyrie Irving, as a 90 overall. So both guys were very upset with, or were very unhappy with their ratings. What do you think? Who do you think got the bigger snub on the ratings, Embiid or Kyrie?
All right, well, my big thing about Kyrie – I'm going to start with Embiid. Embiid, for me, was this is his first year he played. He played 32 games, I think he played in, and he was a monster. He had the highest point per game average in 48 or 36 minutes or something like that in the league. It was his first year he was on the floor. So for me, I'm okay with an 86. I really am. Maybe a little bit higher, but the thing that most important to me is as long as his social media scores at 100, like as long as that rating is 100, man is
A1 Twitter.
He is. If you don't follow him on Twitter, please go.
You got to go follow Joel Embiid, man.
Hopefully, we're trying to get a follow from him. Maybe
dude. If
hyping him up a lot.
So. Somebody get on. We're gonna have to get after Joel Embiid and get him on Make or Break Sports.
Kyrie with a 90. I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's an A grade. I know he's the cover guy, but
I'm a hit. I think that
hit or miss.
Yeah, I think Embiid's was pretty fair considering the circumstances. But naturally, as a Sixer fan, I wanted him to be a little higher, just because I would love to play as the Sixers. But
hey, at least we have a player above the 65 range.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's not in the 60s. I hope he can shoot, man. I'd love to pop with him, have him shoot a couple threes. But I think Kyrie got a pretty big scroogey with the 90. I think, dude, Kyrie's nasty. I think he's one of the best point guards in the game. I think he should have been at least a 92 or 93. I think 90 was low-balling him pretty good, especially for the cover athlete. I think you got to give the cover athlete a little boost.
The fact that they gave Paul George more, Paul George was just the 2K17 cover man, and they gave him a higher score, which, I think Paul George has had a better overall career to this point, but I think the past season especially, Kyrie outperformed Paul George. Yeah, dude.
I think Kyrie's got the clutch gene. He can shoot. He's got the nastiest handles in the league. He's an underrated passer. He's an underrated defender.
You and I can agree on that one, I think.
I think Kyrie definitely got the scroogey on that one. That's pretty much all we have, guys.
I think that's all we got.
Everybody, thank you so much for our viewers that tuned in. We really appreciate it. If you're watching this delayed, we really appreciate it too. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Follow us,
please
get involved. We love all you guys. We really
spread the word.
I think this has been a great first podcast. If you have anything you want us to talk about in the future, message us in. We'd love to talk about it.
They all won't be 2 hours long. We just wanted to get you guys a nice intro, talk about a little what we are. Like I said, our main focus for now, we are going to talk fantasy football because we're preparing for our draft. We are willing to talk about anything sports related. You want to talk about Roger Federer winning 8th Wimbledon? We'll talk about it. You want to talk about the LPGA Tour? We don't know much about it, but we can talk about
it. We'll definitely have some content coming up with the McGregor-Mayweather fight coming up, and we're going to probably break into we'll do some fantasy basketball. We'll get some NFL stuff, some anything you guys want to see, baseball. We'll get everything going. So just let us know what you want to hear, and we would love to talk about it. So stay tuned. Hit the website. Remember, that's makeorbreaksports.weebly.com. Go check it out. We're going to have some blog posts up there. We're going to have some more rankings and some all kinds of other stuff up there, all kinds of content. We're going to be trying to roll some content out to you, so we really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Have a good night.